Recently, I found myself thinking about a certain character in Naruto. A character that stirs up controversy every time they're mentioned. A character that I personally feel was integral to the series' appeal and structure and emotion. This character in question is Sakura Haruno, third member and the brains of Team 7. Intelligent and ambitious, Sakura acted as the anchor for the trio alongside her more calm and collected and action-oriented teammates. Whether you personally liked her or not, I bet we can agree that she had some standout moments in the series. Or at least, today I can convince you that she had some standout moments. I'm not here to sing her praises. Today I'm just gonna shed light on what I feel is really an underrated scene in all of Naruto. And most importantly, an underrated Sakura moment. When people think about Sakura's best moment, most flock to her battle with Sasori, praising it as Sakura's best fight. While I can certainly see the appeal of this, I'd have to disagree. I'm not trying to downplay it in any way, shape, or form. It's an amazing scene, and it really shows her physical growth as a character. It's been 2 years in the canon since we've seen her in action, and her last fight was against Ino in the Chunin exams. And as far as we knew, she was training under the Hokage at the time, Tsunade. It was shocking to see how much her skill had grown during that time, no doubt about it. To see the once useless Sakura able to hold her own against a member of the infamous Akatsuki, even though she had help, was a sight to behold. There's just something missing from it, something holding it back from being the best moment. What about Sakura versus Shin Uchiha? A very well put together battle from a visual standpoint, but still, I can't help disagree. I don't blame that on the writing though. During that point in the Naruto canon, Sakura had been the best she's ever been as a character. In my opinion at least. A great mother, a skilled fighter, and there's nothing much to build upon. Her character came to an end there. That's the end of her arc. When I think about Sakura's best fight, her best moment, I often find myself in the same place, with the same level of emotion I had roughly about 8 to 10 years ago. During Toonami's golden age when Naruto was still fresh on the scene, and each episode was as breathtaking as the last. Let's rewind the clock to Naruto episode 23, Sakura Blossoms, or, for you manga readers, chapter 53, Sakuras Decision, the moment Sakura cut her hair. Before I go deeper into this, I'd like to say this episode/chapter is a double-edged sword. While I do believe it's Sakura's best moment, it doesn't fill me with joy, more so much sadness. Every time I look back on it, and then look at everything that came after, it really shows the wasted potential of Sakura's character. It feels like some sort of misunderstanding on the writing's part, of what made her a somewhat interesting and well-established character by this point. It reminds me of a character from Akira Toriyama's classic, Dragon Ball. I think we all know who I'm talking about. Rest in peace, Gohan's potential. Now ultimately, I don't hate where Gohan's character went in theory, but it's the fact that he became a sandbag on the way there. Contrasting this with a character in a similar position like our current Naruto in the Boruto series, even when he stumbles during a battle due to his lack of training for a long time, take Shin Uchiha for example, it still isn't a major blowout like most of Gohan's battles in Super, the anime at least. I think the manga handled Gohan just a tiny bit better when it comes to the cool factor at least. To me, the best fights aren't fights that are grandiose and spectacular, filled with the best animation, loaded with explosions and masterful choreography, whether it be hand-to-hand or swordplay. However, it does help. But to me, the best fights need something more. To me, the best fights are fights that don't involve a character versus another character, but a character versus themselves. This is called narrative conflict, and it's broken into 4 main parts. Man against man. Man vs. Man is a traditional form of storytelling. It deals with external conflicts, the protagonist versus the antagonist, if you will. 2, for the most part, tangible characters in direct conflict against each other, whether it be through different goals that clash with one another, or similar goals that clash with one another. Most media follow this concept, especially shonen. Man against nature. Man versus nature is more primitive in nature. Man versus the forces of nature, or even smaller, man versus animal. Bear Grylls' Man vs. Wild is a perfect example of this. One man trying to survive the elements with nothing but his wits and his surrounding. and at the end, he learns something that he can take away from this experience. Man against society. Sometimes a fourth conflict will arise in storytelling, man versus society. This is where man takes on a man-made institution. A great example of a story like this would be The Dark Knight. We, the audience, consistently see the Joker embody this concept throughout the film, changing what would have been a Batman vs. Joker tale to a Joker vs. Gotham. Man against self. In my last statement, I spoke about man vs. society being the fourth conflict in the story. This is because I wanted to leave this for last. Man vs. self. The struggle from within. Internal conflict. Stories like this see a character face themselves. A character is faced with a hard choice that creates a diverging path in the narrative. Choices which create inner conflict due to the fact that they conflict with the main character's nature, their ideology, and beliefs. An amazing example of this is in the 1919 film based on the novel of the same name, Fight Club. It follows a story of a protagonist who you know what? I'm not gonna spoil this film for anyone who hasn't seen it. Please do yourself a favor and watch Fight Club. Man vs. Self plays an extremely important role in this scene. Until this point in the series, Sakura had been a character in the shadow of her own teammates, and I dare say it, her contemporaries as a whole. However, this one scene changed her character. It triggered something that could have been an amazing step forward for her character. Now, without further interruption, let's get into the scene, shall we? What makes cutting her hair so special? On the surface, there's nothing special about a person cutting their hair. In fact, if I were to speak of this moment in casual conversation, most people wouldn't see it as a big deal, and I don't blame them. The importance of cutting her hair holds no weight on its own. It could simply seem as if she cut her hair to free herself from Keen's grip. After all, she was being held down by her hair, while three ninja, who had just taken out Rock Lee, someone who prior to this defeated both Naruto and Sasuke. This presents a clear skill gap between each character for the audience. So why wouldn't Sakura cut her hair to free herself? However, it goes deeper than simply trying to free herself. Later in the scene, we're shown a flashback of Ino and Sakura as children.
Hey, aren't you the one they're always teasing because you got such a big forehead? Who are you? Who, me? Oh, that's easy. My name's Ino Yamanaka. Who are you? My name's... Sakura. Huh? Hello? I can't hear you. Let's try that again, okay? Who are you? My name is Sakura! That's better. So this is the famous forehead, huh? Whoa, it is kind of big. So that's why you hide it with your bangs? Hey, you know what? I've got something special for you. Come back here tomorrow, okay?
Sakura opened up and became somewhat fixated on her looks, growing out her hair because she had heard Sasuke likes girls with long hair. Her hair was her life. It gave her an edge on gaining Sasuke's affection, along with being on the same team as him. With all that fresh in our minds, we can finally grasp the significance of Sakura cutting her hair. She was freeing herself from such shallow ideas, like outward beauty and trying to attract the opposite sex. Sakura, as the title suggests, had blossomed from this shallow, self-absorbed girl to a ninja that echoed all the best parts of her teammates. Let's also keep in mind that cutting one's hair in Japan symbolizes the end of an era in someone's life and the beginning of another, at least during the Edo period. You see, during the Edo period, samurai would cut off their little top knot on their hair as a way of stepping down from their position. Moving forward, she remarks on wanting to be a ninja, her feelings for Sasuke, and even her negative treatment towards Naruto, stating that it's all empty words, considering both have continued to outpace her constantly, from the survival exercise against Kakashi to the mission in the land of the waves.
I've always considered myself to be a true ninja. I claim that I'm madly in love with Sasuke. And I'm always lecturing Naruto, acting like I know so much more. But it's all empty words. because they're always in the lead, and I watch them from the background. Why is that?
She stood up for herself, and in Naruto and Sasuke's fashion, dived headfirst into enemies, casting away her fears as she was determined to not only prove herself, but protect those who spent so much time and risked their life to protect her. Ultimately, Team Asuma and later Sasuke came to her aid, but it doesn't change the significance and power of this truly underrated Sakura scene. This moment is something no Naruto fan should ever forget. I'm Grimtoki, this has been Beyond Animation, and I'll see you in the next one.